When you're planning and scheduling in Primavera 6, do you sometimes feel lost, alone, out in the wilderness maybe? Then you need to watch Envision's video series.
Hi, I'm Tony Duca.
And I'm Jay Campbell, and welcome to Envision Consultants video series. So what do we got today, Tony?
Well, today we're going to take a look at a very common problem that a lot of P3 users have, especially when they move up to P6, renumbering activity IDs. Let's go ahead and take a look. First, we're going to renumber the activity IDs in P3. We currently have a project open, project ENCN, and we have a series of activities, 81,000 through to 81,009. Currently, these activities are incrementing by 1. We're going to renumber them so that they increment by 10. We will leave activity 81,000 as the first activity, so we will only renumber activity 81,001 through to 81,009. First, we must select the activities. To do so, we will select 81,001, hold the Shift key down, and then select 81,009. This will select all the activities. Next, we will click on Edit, Copy, to copy the activities to the Windows clipboard. Next, we click on Edit and Paste. This will open the Paste Activities box. In it, we're presented with 3 options: Rename All, Prefix or Suffix, and Auto Increment. To renumber the activity IDs, we will choose the Auto Increment option. We would also like to maintain relationships with other activities in the project. To do that, we will make sure that the option Paste External Relationships is checked. Next, we click on OK. In the Auto Increment box, we must first type in the new first activity. That will be AD 1010. We will then change the increment to 10 and click on OK. That will create our new series of activities, starting with AD 1010 down to AD 1090. Since these activities are correct, we have no need for the original activities AD 1001 through to AD 1009, so we will highlight them and delete them.
Well, that's how you would do it in P3. How would you do it in P6?
Well, P6 is a different application, so obviously the steps are going to be a little bit different. Let's take a look. In P6, we are going to have the same scenario. We're going to renumber activity IDs. We're going to use the same project we used earlier in P3, project ENCN, and we're going to renumber the same series of activities, 81,000 through to 81,009. Before we can copy and paste the activities, we must first change some settings at the project level. To do this, we must first click on the Projects button on the directory bar. Next, we must select the project ENCN and then click on the Defaults tab in the Details section. At the bottom of the Defaults tab is a section called Auto Numbering Defaults. In it, we can define the activity ID prefix, the activity ID suffix, and the increment. The current activity ID prefix, AD, is correct, so we leave that unchanged, but we will change the activity ID suffix. Just as we've done earlier in P3, we're going to leave the current activity 81,000 unchanged and start our renumbering with activity 81,010. So I will change the suffix to 1010. I will also change the increment to 10. Underneath those options, we have the option Increment Activity ID based on selected activity. Leave this option unchecked. With our settings correct, we will return to the Activities window by clicking on the Activities button in the directory bar. We are now ready to copy and paste the activities. Just as we did earlier in P3, we're going to leave the first activity, 81,000, unchanged and start our renumbering with the next activity, 81,001. we will use Shift-Click to highlight 81001 through to 81009. Next, we will click on Edit and Copy the activities to the Windows clipboard. Next, we'll click on Edit and Paste. In the Copy Activity Options box, we want to ensure that the options relationships is checked to maintain the relationships between the copied activities. Underneath relationships is a subsetting, only between copied activities. To maintain the relationship with other activities in the project, we need to ensure that this option is unchecked. With the settings correct, we will click on OK. This will create our new series of activities, starting with AD 1010 through to AD 1090. With these activities now in place, we can select the original activities AD 1001 through to AD 1009 using Shift-Click and delete them.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome, Jake.
We hope you found that tip informative and helpful. But if you need something more substantial, then visit www.eclimited.com, where you'll find the exclusive My Training program, where we use your data, your resources, and your project. At the end of class, you'll be able to take your project home on your flash drive. My Training, exclusively by Envision Consultants.
Well, that's it for Envision's video series on renumbering activity IDs. I'm Tony Duca.
And I'm Jake Campbell.
Be on the lookout for our next topic in the Envision video series. Until then, have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.